Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with Our Crafty Playdate, and I wanted to show you today this little card. Look at this, ready? Ah. All right, so you may have seen these because they're kind of all over Pinterest right now. It's a card that actually holds a little box, and you can put it at people's place setting. Would be adorable. This is not one you want to try and mail, folks, unless you want to pay a lot of extra postage or have to put it in a little box. But if you are hand delivering or dropping onto a coworker's desk or a teacher's desk, so cute, right? Precious. And a lot of people have been making their own boxes, which we can do that too. I know how. I've made this little box for you to show you. It's just a 2x2x2 box, and I put a little lid on it, and this works also right here. But how cute is the clear box where they can actually see inside? That matches it's the inside that counts. It's what's inside that counts. Stamp set, but see, we could do it with this box too, and that's fine. But we're not. We're doing it with this one. All right, so because I'm using these are actually in the annual catalog, these little treat boxes, and they're very sturdy. All right, that's me giving it some serious pressure here. They are actually very firm, and they will hold a lot, but the thing that you're going to give up there is they're not as light as these other ones. I just threw it. I threw it off onto the floor. I'm sorry. But the little DSP boxes that you make, they would be a little bit weaker. And we might make one of those today too if we have a little time. But these strong ones are great for this kind of thing because then they can see what's inside that counts. Okay. But because we are doing that, we are going to be using a different kind of Whisper White. So I want to show you something here. This is regular Whisper White cardstock. It is the cardstock that I use generally for every card base, and all my cards I use Whisper White, and it's fine. It's plenty strong. It works well for cards. It's not a problem. This is our thick extra white or Whisper White cardstock, and it is a little heavier duty, more like cardboard paper. And the way I can tell, look, if I flop them, see how much more the one on the left flops, and I'm doing the same thing with my hands. This one is a lot more sturdy, and you need the sturdy heft because if you put a heavier box in here standing up and it's weaker paper, not weaker, I don't want to say weaker, but less thick paper, it's gonna slide open, and you don't want that to happen. So you are going to use the thick. So let's get rid of that one for now so that I can do it later. All right, so a little thicker. As you can see, I'm so not used to using thick paper, so it's a little harder for me, especially with this crazy finger situation. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder. All right, so I have creased the top of this paper, and now I'm going to bring in my trimmer. I know a lot of people will tell you to use your trimmer for this part, and the only thing I use on my trimmer for that part is actually the scoring part. If I were just doing it with a regular Whisper White, I would go ahead and use my trimmer and no problem, or with designer series paper. But with this thick, I don't want to go through 2 layers because you'd have to go through 2 layers. I don't want to go through 2 layers of paper with my trimmer blade because it will make it weak. So on your trimmer, you actually have 2 blades. This darker one is your cutting blade, and this lighter colored one is your scoring blade. I'm actually going to slide my darker one all the way out of the way, comes all the way off the ridge so that I don't use it by accident because, yeah, I've done that. Okay, and I'm going to slide this one up here and put this in. Now, I want it to be about 1 inch over. So this is about 1 inch wide. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so I made it 1 inch wide here because I wanted to have this fit really well, that stamp fit really well. So if I were to do it on this side, I don't have a lot of stability, okay? But if I use this side, look at that. I have got a ton of stability here because I can brace it up there. All right, I am going to put it in here, and along your track, you do have numbers here, so you can use some of these. So I've matched it with the 1 inch. My scoring blade is here, and I'm going to push down pretty hard, and I am going to 2. Okay, now remember, these boxes are 2x2x2, just like the little one that I would have made. All right, so can you see that? Can you see that score line? Okay, so now I want this space to be 2. So when I had it in at 1 inch, it was at 4.5. So I want to go exactly 2 inches over so that it's 2 inches between the score. So I'm going to go to 2.5. All right, at 2.5, I am going to score again just to the 2. Okay, now I've got these 2 score lines right here. I'm just going to line them up, and you could eyeball it and put them in the track. You know what? Let's do it this way, and I'll show you a trick. You could eyeball it and just put it between the tracks if you can see them well, or you know that they were 2 inches deep from the fold. This is the fold here. So I'm going to go ahead, put it at the 1 inch, because we know we started over from 1 inch. I'm going to put it at the 1 inch here, and I'm going to go to the 3 inches because 1 plus 2 is 3. So now I've got a little square, and that's what I need to cut out. I am going to use my snips. My snips are the bomb. They are so sharp, and they're sharp all the way to the edge, all the way to the tip. Look, snip all the way to the tip. Very, very handy. Okay, and I'm going to come over here and do it. Now, if I used my trimmer, it would be hard to get through this thick paper, but my snips go through them like butter, so it's not a big deal. It just is a little tricky here in the corners. You could also use an X-Acto knife. If you have one and you use them, that's great. I don't use those. I use my snips. All right, so I'm gonna go a little, have to do a little tiny bit at an angle here to get started. Missed. Come on. All right. All right, so then I would clean that edge up just a little bit, snip, nobody's gonna notice it. Okay, so here is my card base. And that way I went through the 2 different sides. All right, so we are ready to go with that piece. And now I'm just gonna do some decorating. My camera fell over, I'm sorry folks. Let's see if I can get that standing back up again. So for Christmas, I asked for a new camera mount so that you don't see my shoulder and my hair occasionally when my camera falls over. All right, are we back in frame here? Almost. Squeak. Okay. All right. So now we are going to go ahead and decorate this. So what I'm using is I'm using the Be Merry Designer Series paper. It's a great 2-sided paper, and it is in the annual catalog, so it's not going away anytime soon. So if you want to make some Christmas cards before next year, if you want to make a couple of these, you have some time, because this is annual catalog. This is holiday, and they're going to go away. So get these little bows while you can, and a couple of these other features too. So I'll talk about that as we go. This piece here is just a normal card size. So it is going to be, why don't I do it on the side that really matters? 5 1/4 by 2 inches. Okay, it's a 5 1/4 by 2 inch strip, so it would be a normal panel, but it really just vanished when I put it there. So I decided to layer it up with a little bit of garden green. The way you know the colors to use in your card is they tell you actually on the card pack on the back of the Designer Series paper. It lists the colors used. So today we're using garden green, and this is cherry cobbler. So we're going to go ahead and layer these together and glue them. And we're just going to use a little bit of liquid glue, or a lot of liquid glue, as this case may be. And I'm going to layer them. It doesn't matter right yet, but when I go to glue it down, we do want to remember this is directional, and I don't want my trees standing on their heads. So make sure I glue it this way and not this way. I might have done that before, just saying. Could have happened. Okay, so that part's ready. And now I've got a little piece of cherry cobbler that is just 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. And why did I choose that crazy size? Well, I did it because I have these little things that I dropped somewhere. These little felt decorations, and they actually, there they are. The little felt decorations kind of dictated the sizes. Aren't those not adorable? So these are going to be retiring, which makes me sad. And I used one of these little trees. And there's a wrong side. You can see with the stitching here. So make sure that you're putting it upright. When I picked this size, I wanted it to be just a little bit, the square to be just a little bit smaller than my tree, so that I could kind of make a little fancy statement here. So the way I did that was I glued with liquid glue this right here. But when I went to glue this on, It's felt, so you do not want to put liquid glue on felt, because if you do, what happens is it soaks it in and it gets really nasty. So you don't want to do that. So I also lost my glue dots. I don't know where. Oh, here they are. Jeez Louise. Sorry, guys. So you're going to put glue dots on this instead, okay? So I'm just going to put just 2 glue dots on here. There's one. You know what I actually used when I made mine? That would maybe be better than glue dots even still. Is, what do I always use, guys? I use liquid Tombow, which you can't do it on this because if you do, you're going to be sad, sad, sad. I used a piece of tear and tape. Fixed my car. How could it not hold my little felt thing together? If you don't know how I fixed my car, you have to go back and watch the video because I explained that whole very funny story. And when I told Stampin' Up, they thought it was the funniest story ever and sent me some free rolls of this tape because I had the funniest tear and tape story. Okay, so I have a little piece of tear and tape on there, and I'm just going to offset this. I put it down a little bit below, above the green, below the red. How's that? Okay, can you see what I did there? All right, just makes it look a little fancier. Okay, and before I glue this, I am going to go ahead and stamp. So the stamps that I am using today are the Tags and Trimmings stamp set. It's this stamp set right here. It matches with a set of framelits that makes little stockings. And look at this. They've made an advent calendar out of these stockings. These stockings actually form a pillow box. All right. And that's the thing that's kind of concave on both sides, and you can pop it open and put stuff inside. So adorable for a Christmas tree ornament with a gift, or advent calendar. So adorable. But anyway, they coordinate with that set. And there is a bundle, so save 10%, but get it soon because this going away. All right, I told you the paper's staying, this paper's staying, the clear boxes are staying, but these little features and these little felt ornaments that I showed you before, and this stuff going. So get it soon. All right, so that's what I used. I'm using this one here. It's the What's Inside That Counts and Garden Green ink. So let me get that together for you. It's a red rubber stamp, so I don't need to use Versamark or a Stampin' Mat. Remember, I told you, you use the Versamark and the Stampin' Mat on photopolymer stamps. You don't use them on this because you already have the layer of sponge. You already have the layer in there. The clear stamps, the see-through ones, photopolymer, you don't have that. But because it's a pretty, straightforward stamp, it's pretty easy to get centered. I don't have my glasses on, guys. It is the craziest thing. All right. I got a ridge. Guess what's going there? A little gem. Oh, another little bow. Little bow's going there. Okay. So now I am going to glue this down too. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do a little something. Not the right glue. I'm a piece of work today. Thanks for putting up with me, guys. This is the way I craft all the time, and I talk to myself, so turning on the camera is just one added step. Otherwise, I'm just doing exactly the same thing for myself. Talking and crafting. Okay, so that's what it looks like. The card is done. The box, the way I did the box, I just folded it together. So the boxes come like this. There are 16 in the box, or 16 in the little bag. They come like this. When you get them, don't think that they're ruined because they have this. They actually, when they cut them, they put a layer over them of plastic so that they don't scratch them. Look at that. That's just garbage, so you throw that away or it sticks to your hand. And you can do this. I want to say that these are food safe too, but I would double check that. It will say in the catalog if they are. Okay, so top, right? And I'm going to give all my folds, all my creases a little fold. All my folds a little creases. Okay, one or the other, they're all getting bent. All right, and then here's the bottom. So for the bottom, I am going to fold in this flap first. It's hard to see because it's clear. This flap first, okay? And then the two sides look like this, and they just pop in, right? They just popped into that other shape. And then this is kind of your tab flap. See that tab? This is your tab flap, and it goes in last, and it just slides right in there. Give it a little crease, and there's your box. So stinking cute. I threw in some shred. Okay, just threw in some paper shred, tissue paper shred. And I don't know if you can see these. Yum. If you haven't gotten to Target yet, I know they have them at Target. I don't know about anywhere else. These are Hershey Kisses. Yeah, but they're full of that cherry cordial liquid. Yum. Okay. Sorry, eating. Okay, so your little box, the shred, and I have 3 kisses in mine now. Well, now I have 2 kisses in mine because I ate one. But anyway, that's your card. Oh, I promised. The little bows come like this in a box. They are Season of Glitz mini bows. We do have some mini bows in the annual catalog, so you will still get some bows, but they're not these colors. They're great for birthday. And tell me you could not make the cutest little birthday box card. But in the meantime, we've got these. So I used the green on my box that had my candy in it. So I think I'm going to use, you know what I did? I opened the bottom too, so I could easy access the red. I'm going to stick a red one right on that spot, because this is what you would do, right? If you made a boo-boo on a card like that and you'd already cut it, you would not stop. You're lying to me if you're going to tell me that you would recut the whole thing. You wouldn't. You would just say, hey, I have an ink smudge. That looks like an opportunity for embellishment. You're going to hand deliver this card anyway. It's not going in an envelope. It doesn't matter that it's hanging off a little. How cute is that? It's what's inside that counts. And there you go. You are all set. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you'll come back soon. And you know what? I will do a birthday box for you using the new birthday paper from the new catalog. I will do a birthday box and show you how to do it, and teach you a trick about making the birthday box out of designer series paper. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and are looking for one, you found me. And my website will be listed here. If you want some of these items, you do need to place your order soon because they are going away and not coming back. Thank you so much for coming by. Bye-bye.